Hi guys, welcome back to part 3 of changing the subject of an equation, and actually the final part of this tutorial series. And in this one it will be more on advanced questions for this topic. Now if you're still a bit unsure on how to do this and you need a bit of the basic grounding, I would definitely recommend to go and watch the beginner and the intermediate part of this series, and I'll put the link on the top right hand corner of your screen. So it's pretty much part 1 and part 2. Go and watch those first, and there are questions at the end of each of those video tutorials. Try those out, and there are also answers, so you can actually check if you got the answers right or wrong. And then once you master that and you actually understand that, come to this one and then see if you can do this. This is more on the advanced ones, and these are the ones that will carry more marks in your exams. So I don't think I've mentioned this often enough, but in each of these video tutorials that I'm doing now, there are questions. I am writing questions at the end of them, at the end of those tutorials, for you guys to try it out. So, if you feel you need a bit of practice and see if you can actually understand what you've actually learned, trying those questions out at the end of those tutorials, it will actually help you out. Okay, so like with this video as well, I will be putting questions at the end of this video as well, so you can check it out and try it out yourself. Right, let's get straight to the question. So in this question, we want to make x a subject of these equations. So we have there's two questions. So we have this question and then this question. This is more of the advanced. Like both of these are advanced, but this I would say is more advanced. So let's go through this one first. We want to make x a subject, right? So if we look at this question, you can see first and foremost that there is a square root here. And for me to make x a subject, what does that mean? It means I want x equals, right? So the first thing that I need to do is I need to get rid of this square root. What can I do to get rid of this square root? So in other words, what I'm asking is, what is the opposite of square root? Which is square, isn't it? So if you want to get rid of this square root, which means it will give us t squared plus x squared, what we need to do is then we need to get rid of this, which means we're going to have to square the other side, which means y squared. Now, if you don't know why I'm squaring it, think of it this way, okay? Say if I have x to the power half, right? But by the way, square root means to the power half, right? So if I write square root x and these are the same things, okay? Now, if I write x to the power half, right, and I'm saying I need to get rid of this power half, means I need to get rid of this square root, what number do I multiply half to get 1, basically, to get rid of it? If you think about it, if you multiply it by 2, 2 times half gives you 1, which is why here I'm squaring it, because I am pretty much timesing it by 2, but square. So that's a little background into why, if you wanted to know why we have to do the opposite, why we have to do square. So now you've taken the square root. Because now you want to make x squared the subject, you need to get rid of this t squared and bring it to the other side. So x squared stays here, and then y squared stays here, and then bringing t squared to the other side now becomes minus t squared. But remember, you want x, not x squared. So the final step that you have to do if you want x is square root y squared minus t squared. And that is your answer to making x a subject, because you obviously, if you want to get rid of the squared, you have to do the opposite, which is square root. That is all. Okay, so if it makes sense, great. If it doesn't, if there's still something that you don't understand, just put it down in the comments and I can help you out again. Now if we look at this second one, this is a bit more working out here. What you can see is we have everything in fraction, right? And what we need to do is, obviously we want to make x a subject. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to keep 1 over x here, right? And this 1 over y, I'm going to bring it to the other side because we don't need it. So what you have is you have 1 over c, not plus. If you bring 1 over y to the other side, it becomes minus. So minus 1 over y. Now, because we want to make x a subject, what we need to first do is solve this algebraically, like a fraction. Okay? Because else we can't do anything. So we're going to have to keep 1 over x like this, and we're going to solve this. So what I mean by this is I need to find my lowest common multiple between cy. And an algebraic fraction is quite simple. Your lowest common multiple is basically you bring these two together. So it's just going to be cy. And then you put a minus here in between because you see a minus. Right? Now, for you to get this answer, or this side of this left hand side, all you have to do is you just do y times 1, which is y, diagonal multiplication if you like. And for you to get this bit here, you do c times 1, which is c, right? So now you have y minus c. Now remember, because you want x a subject, there is a little trick here that you can do. Okay, and it's up to you if you want to do this or not, but it's just a little shortcut. If I want to bring, because I want x, right? We have 1 over x, which means I want to bring x to the top. So what we can do is we can bring x to the top, and then the 1 goes on the bottom, but x over 1 is just going to be x, isn't it? If we bring x to the top and 1 to the bottom. But if we're going to do this on the left-hand side, we're going to have to do the same thing for the right-hand side, which means now cy goes on the top, and y minus c goes on the bottom. And that's pretty much it. That's how you find x. That's a little shortcut for you. So whenever you have something in this form in terms of fraction, what you can do is bring x to the top, 1 to the bottom, which is just going to be x, and then which means you have to flip this as well. So cy goes on the top and y minus c goes on the bottom. And that's pretty much it. Okay? So okay, I guess I know maybe I did say there was a bit of working out to do, but it's a bit more advanced. That's all I would say. But then really, if you understand what's happening, it's hopefully it doesn't look as hard as it looks, I guess. All right? So again, if this has helped you and you understand it, please give this video a big thumbs up. And what I'm going to do now is give you guys a couple of questions for you guys to try it out and see. And yeah, just give it a go and see how you get on. Right, so here are some questions for you guys to try and do. Try these out, give it a go. Again, it doesn't matter if you get it wrong, all right? The whole point is to see, to have a go and see where you went wrong, okay? And then look back at what I'm going to do and then see, you know, exactly where you made the mistake. And again, if you still don't understand what's happening, just put it down in the comments. And like I said, I will reply back and help you guys out. Okay, if we go for the first one, so basically the question is asking make the letter in the bracket the subject of the equation. So basically here we want to make x a subject, and in this one we want to make y the subject. So to make x a subject here, we first need to get rid of this cube root. So be careful, it's not a square root, it's a cube root because it's a 3. So for me to get rid of the cube root, so we're going to have 2x squared plus y. That means I need to cube this. So it's going to be c cubed because you do the opposite of cube root, which is cube. Now because we want to make x squared x subject, take the y to the other side, which means it's going to be c3 minus y. And remember, we want to get x by itself, so get rid of the 2, so which means we are going to do not c squared, c cube minus y over 2. And because we want x now, get rid of the square, which means we're going to square root the whole thing. So it's going to be c cube minus y over 2. Okay? If you've got this, well done. If you haven't, look at the steps that you've done. You might have done even a silly mistake by forgetting changing the minuses and plus. Right, now if we go to the second one now, we want to make y the subject. Now this is a bit different because everything is on one side. So what we can do straight away here is, you see this minus 1 over y. Why don't you bring it to the right hand side to make this positive? So what I mean by this is keep 1 over f here, keep the minus 1 over u here, equals, bring minus 1 over y to the other side, which means it becomes positive. Can we not write this way as well? 1 over y is equals to 1 over f minus 1 over u. Can we not do that? It's the same thing. And now what we're going to do is solve this algebraically. So keep the 1 over y this way. Now, what's my lowest common multiple? Just bring f and u together. So it's just going to be fu. Okay, fu. No. Okay, it's not the way it sounds. Okay, fu as just the letters fu. Don't get any ideas, guys, here. Okay, just fu. Right. So yeah, maybe I should have used different letters here. Right. Okay, so our common denominator is fu. Now, what we want to do here is, obviously, if we want to get this bit of this side of the answer to this side, we cross multiply u by 1, so it's just going to be u. And then to get this side, we're going to cross multiply f by 1, which is f. Okay? Now, the last step that we need to do, the little trick that I said, is if you want to get y, bring y to the top, and then bring 1 to the bottom, which is just going to be y over 1, which is just y. And if you're going to do this here, you need to flip this here. So the fu goes to the top, so it just becomes fu on the top. And the u minus f goes on the bottom. So that's going to be u minus f. And that is the answer for this one. So if you've got this as well, excellent, well done. This is pretty much advanced completing the square, really. And again, if you haven't, do not worry. Just look at the steps again where you went wrong. Okay, it's better to make mistakes now and learn from it than just being, okay, you know what, this is not learning from it, is what I'm saying. Okay, so if there's any questions that you guys have on this topic, put it down in the comments and I'll get back to you. And until then, I shall see you on the next one.